Richard Kolko is a retired FBI supervisory special agent, and he's in Reston, Virginia. Thanks so much for being on with us again. So apparently the Secret Service knew this guy. He was on their radar. He had mental health concerns. So how does someone like that still end up at a White House checkpoint with a gun?
Morning, Kim. Thanks for having me. Great question. You have to assume that they knew who he was, as we've heard from previous arrests, previous encounters with Secret Service. And it's likely that they've got a whole book full of photos of people they've got to be on the lookout for, approaching the checkpoints or being in the area of the White House. Maybe on their phones, on an iPad, they get it during the shift change briefs. You know who's the latest that they need to be on the lookout for. So he is familiar to them, especially had that stay away order from the court. But approaching that checkpoint, very interesting. At the end of the day, at least the security of the White House was not breached. So from the Secret Service's perspective, that's fortunate, but a difficult night, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we don't know the motive, of course, but based on everything we kind of do know right now, do you think this was somebody who actually wanted to harm the president?
No, while there have been recent attacks against the president, going back to Pennsylvania, where he was shot at and actually hit, this is a very low chance attack. He was not going to get to the White House. He was not going to get to the president. This is a man who likely had those mental health issues and simply charged the gate without a real plan. He had a bag over his shoulder, took a gun out of the bag, and just started shooting. So he was killed, so they won't find out or have the opportunity to talk to him. But they're going to go back and see if he'd had any writings, see if he had any posts on social media. Of course, with the mental health issues, how did he get the gun is going to be a significant issue. Did somebody have an idea that he was going to do this? And could somebody have picked up the phone and said, hey, he's in the area, watch out?
Now, a bystander was also hit in the exchange of gunfire. Now, we don't know right now whether that was from the suspect or one of the agents. I mean, how does the Secret Service typically review an incident like that?
Well, there'll be a crime scene breakdown. We saw the crime scene folks there in the area immediately after the event. They probably took the weapons that were fired, that's standard in a police shooting, to be analyzed. They've got the gun from the suspect. It'll go to a lab. They'll know pretty quickly who it was. Initial reports was best. It only fired 3 rounds, but as we heard from that video you showed, and reports as they've been developed over the last few hours, it sounds like he shot a lot more shots than three. So that'll all be broken down. They'll have that information. But, was he radicalized or just a man with mental health issues who didn't know what else to do?
Yeah, we still don't have those answers. In the meantime, the geography of the incident, I mean, this happened at a checkpoint on Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, how far from the White House was it? And is that sort of where you think the perimeter should be, or should we think of extending it even further?
Well, there's a physical perimeter, there's an intelligence perimeter, and you've got the White House perimeter itself, very difficult to breach, protected at the highest level. But those perimeters, that perimeter goes out several times. We've all, those of us who've been around the White House, you've seen the Secret Service cars, not just next to the White House, but blocks away. They use license plate readers. They have people they're supposed to look for. There are many perimeters that extend farther and farther out. And then that perimeter intelligence is based on what Secret Service learns. The threats against the president. Anytime there's a threat, it's likely that a Secret Service agent or officer knocks on that door and says, hey, what's up? And that doesn't mean just Washington, D.C. That can be any part of the country. So the perimeters exist. Security worked. Washington is a walking town. It's a tourist town. You can't make a hard perimeter farther away than it really is without greatly affecting just how people move around Washington, D.C. So I don't think they're going to change that. They're just going to review their procedures, make sure that people are up to date on people they've got to be on the lookout for.
Yeah. Richard Kolko, thanks so much for lending us your expertise. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim.
All right, coming up.